Hello, everyone. How we doing? Dr. Charlie Ware, coming to you to discuss: is it a cold, or is it my gum out, or is it allergies? Especially this time of the year, where we're going from spring to actually summertime, we get a lot of confusion because again, the pollen count is like through the roof, the humidity and the low pressure systems are like again through the roof as well. So have a lot of patients who they wean between having a cold and actually it being allergies. So a lot of times people say, "Oh no, it's my allergies. I'm not sick. It's my allergies." And the next week they actually have a cold or a flu, right? And now, of course, more than ever, we want to just definitely be careful and define a lot of what's really going on out there because one wants to have COVID and all these other crazy things that's going on, right? So let's go ahead and jump right into it. How do we really differentiate between a cold or a flu? It's going to be all symptomatic. I mean, we can run tests and see if you have, have a virus, in your system, but, this is not really necessary. There, about anywhere from 10 to 12 different things you can actually sort of check, to see if you actually have a cold or flu. First is going to be a cough. Now, a cough, yes, and allergies, you can sometimes have a cough, especially if you have a post-nasal drip. But when you have a cold, usually you're going to have a cough along with it. Not always, but you can have some sort of cough or irritation inside your throat. But again, like I said, with allergies, you may also have that, especially if you have a lot of post-nasal drip going on, especially at night. You may have like a little cough going on, but the way to differentiate between the cough, is the production of it. Now, are you producing mucus that's coming out? Or you have a runny nose and things of that sort that's actually coming out, or it's changing different colors and things of that sort. That's the way to say if it's a virus. If it's just allergies, you may have a runny nose, but again, it's also going to be a post-nasal drip. It's be more sinus pressure as well. Body aches, huge body aches, pains, and things of that sort. With allergies, usually, high percentage of the time, almost never you will have body aches. With a cold, you're going to have some sort of body ache. You will always have them, but that's another way for you to differentiate. And I also tell people if there's a temperature change, if it's also you get a little bit cold or you get hot pretty easily, that's also usually a sign that you're having a cold versus being allergies. Now with allergies, if you go from a hot or a cold building, it may also cause your sinuses to actually be a little bit less inflamed, so you won't have as much of a reaction for a short period of time. But as soon as you're around the actual allergen again, you'll start to have it. So again, that's another way to do it. Fatigue. Now, you can be fatigued and also weakness in both, but a fatigue and weakness, more so the weakness in a cold is going to be more pronounced than in allergies. Allergies, you're more fatigued because your head's going to feel heavy, your eyes are going to feel heavy, and things of that sort. But as far as like energy level, you can still do things. With a cold, you'll almost be out and back when it's lay in bed a little bit more. Itchy eyes. With a cold, you probably won't have itchy eyes. The whole itchy eye thing is usually when you're going to have an allergy attack because the pollen, attached to eyes. And that's usually, again, for a more some allergic reaction than an actual a cold. Now, sneezing can definitely go with both. But the sneezing is going to be more frequent, as I tell people, more frequent when you come to an actual allergy attack, because again, it's like you're having irritation inside of your respiratory system. So I'm going to say that's more so an allergy, but you can definitely sneeze from a cold as well. Sore throat. Sore throat is another huge way to differentiate between a cold or a flu. Now, as I said before, you can also have a sore throat with allergies because you're going to have some postnasal drip. It can actually irritate over a long period of time. And also, you may be sleeping with your mouth open because you just can't breathe because your sinus passage is just completely blocked. But in general, that's going to be able to go away. But when it comes to on a normal basis, a sore throat for a cold is going to be more common. Okay, so that's how you can actually differentiate those. Runny nose, both of them. The nose gonna run and be a faucet. Usually with allergy dose, the mucus that's produced is be more thin, more watery like. With the actual cold, it's more thick because again, your body's fighting a virus, so it's trying to actually get it out of the system a little bit more. But with an allergy, it's be more thin and loose. Possibly. Stuffy nose is me with both of them as well. So everything just gonna be inflamed. However, with allergies, it can last a little bit longer. With a cold or flu, mostly cold, it may only last 3 to 7 days. With allergy, it's something that can go on for months. Especially during like the allergy season as well. Fever, yes, sometimes you can definitely have a fever, and that's actually one of the telltale signs, really, for a cold to also differentiate the actual fever. Fever, not always you will have a fever or a high fever during a cold, but you will have some sort of like body temperature augmentation. With allergies, you never will have an actual fever at all. So, the ways you can differentiate between a cough, body aches, fever, fatigue, itchy eyes, sore throat, sneezing, runny nose, and also stuffy nose. Also throw in there, essentially like possibly with allergies, you can also be wheezing. With a cold, you normally won't be wheezing with a cold unless it's turning into something else completely different. But from an allergy standpoint, you'll possibly be wheezing as well. So those are some of the ways that you can differentiate between a cold and a flu. Why am I actually talking about these things? Because over the course of less than 10 days, I've had so many people come in my office, and we had to really differentiate between a cold and a flu. Or I've been having DMs, oh, well, my child's very, very stuffy, and I don't know what's going on. I'm like, well, do they have a fever? What's really going on? Okay, well, it's sort of allergy, that's really going on. Now, how do allergies really affect the body? It can be in many different ways, and I'm gonna lead everything back to the gut, because what a lot of the microbiome research has been showing, that when you have a deficiency in your microbiome, just the allergy production in the body is just gonna go haywire, as well as different trace minerals being deficient inside the system. So the reason why I say that is because I have a lot of kids who have been on either antibiotics or different alternative milks versus breast milk and things of that sort, and that is really messing up a lot of kids' bellies, causing a ton of different allergies inside the system. And there are ways to rebuild that. Focus on just rebuilding the system by cutting out anything that can cause allergies, excess sugar, excess cows, dairy, excess wheat, things of that sort, and just start to really slowly rebuild it. Not just by giving probiotics. I think we have this fallacy in our belief that if we give probiotics, eventually the body is going to help you to hopefully rebuild the gut, and it doesn't work like that. You can help it out, but it won't rebuild it. You got to do things like really get rid of the bad bacteria inside of the gut. That's taking very, very specific herbs, fenugreek and incessive fungal disorder or parasites and things like that, to really give the gut a scrubbing, as I always say, and then also start to rebuild it by having prebiotics and also probiotic, not just the supplements but also food. We got to really focus on the leafy greens, some of the low glycemic grains as well, and small amounts of meat to actually really help build the gut. A lot of fermented foods like the kimchi, the kefir, pickles, relish, sauerkraut, even goat, sheep, or alternative yogurts are really good for actually rebuilding the gut, and it can actually over a long period of time actually help the gut rebuild itself and decrease the amount of allergies. Another great way for you to reduce the effect of allergies, if you're by a local bee farmer, start using their honey, because you're having allergy because you're having a reaction to the local pollen count. Taking little teaspoons of honey on a daily basis from a locally grown area can actually help your body get used to some of those allergens and help fight it. It's like giving yourself a vaccine from it. I use that term very, very strongly because these were some of the early ways for us to inoculate ourselves from environmental things. Hey, if you are allergic to something, you would drink a tea of it, and that small amount of drinking that tea will actually give your body enough of the stimulants to say, hey, look, this is not anything wrong. I just need to learn how to fight it more so internally, and your body can actually get rid of it. So doing things that sort, making sure you stay hydrated, and just giving your body a break and a rest can actually give you a long, great way to go. Also, possibly doing steams of eucalyptus tea tree and also a peppermint, just steam baths. Having your head over the old school bowl and sucking in a lot of that steam is going to clear up your nasal passages and also make them not being as inflamed as well. So do a few of those things, guys, and also remember that to differentiate. Oh my God, I can't speak right now. To know the difference, I use a different word. between the two different allergies or a cold is very, very simple. Not having a flu, not having a sore throat, not having a fever, body aches, as well as possible wheezing, and things there. So make sure that you are going to replay this video back and also share this video, because I know a lot of people are struggling with this. I have people who are giving like cold medicine, over and over to someone that actually has allergies, and then someone who actually is actually greatly need of having their gut rebuilt, and they are just giving more allergies to themselves as well. So there are different ways to actually help your body out. Sign up for our newsletter as well, guys. We have a ton of information about allergies and also colds, especially in the summer months. I think we have this fallacy that because it's in summer we can't get a cold, flu, and things of that sort, but totally wrong. You can get a flu and a cold anytime during the year. It doesn't matter. The season is more so our proximity to each other as well as how can you actually beat it a lot faster and prevent it and build resiliency inside your body is all in our newsletters. And don't forget, again, I told you guys before, if you guys send me a question, I may shout your name out, because I have a lot of people who ask me questions, or I have a lot of people who ask me questions after the actual video is over and done with. But if I do that, I'm going to start shouting you guys' name out, because you guys have some great questions, and that's why I do these videos as well. So again, hit me up. Let me know what's going on. Ask your questions. There's no stupid questions out there. And it's all about giving you a better outlook on your health and your family's health as well, guys. So thank you so much for joining me. Have a phenomenal day and evening. Take care.